We are slaying monsters.
Don't let the ghosts and the ghouls disturb you, darling.
So I received some feedback and listener comments regarding our episode 2 of Amityville, particularly someone who was concerned about the weight of the door, the front door of the Amityville house. Because you might remember that in our story, I talked about how George Lutz woke up at 3:15 a.m., heard the crash, ran downstairs, and he said, Jay Anson said in the book, that the 250-pound solid wood door, that's the phrasing he used, 250-pound solid wood door was torn off its hinges. And this listener was very adamant that you could not get a solid wood door up to the weight of 250 pounds, and said instead, if a wood door was a solid wood, not the hollow core doors, but a solid wood door would only weigh about 125 pounds. So half the weight of that door. The only way you would have a 250-pound door is if you had like a security door, like a solid lead reinforced door or a steel door or something like that.
Yeah, or I was going to say like maybe one of those giant like wooden castle doors on those enormous houses in England or something. Right. I could see one of those doors weighing 250 pounds.
Yeah, with all the like iron rivets and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, or they're just like so big. Like you get those 2 double doors that are like entrances to these great halls or whatever. Right. Could see one of those weighing 250 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah. So not something that we talked about in the episode, but yet another reason to be very, very critical of the Lutz's story, because there's no way that door could have weighed that much unless it was made of like, unless it was like a lead cord door or something like that.
But see, these are the kind of like very specific little things that I actually love, because when you're looking at these stories, because they're mistakes. Mm-hmm. It's like, this literally cannot be true. And so it's not even about the ghosts and things. It's the other pieces of their story that they fuck up. Like there being flies. Well, we decided they were demonic flies, but the flies, or the thunderstorm in January in Long Island, which I guess is technically possible if you got one of those like a front coming in or something, but unlikely. Yeah. And not something that's going to last very long, right? You'd probably get a few thunderclaps and then it'd be done.
Yeah, not a whole night of thunderstorms.
Well, the thing that stands out to me is the tale of the hoof prints in the snow when there was technically no snow happening that night.
Yeah, it wasn't a snowstorm.
So anyway, those are the little things that like detectives pull apart in a story that a murderer might tell when they come in and get interrogated. So those are the little interesting pieces. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And it definitely wasn't like a demonic door that just weighed more,
Well, I'm sorry, but that could be. It could be.
A demonic door?
Yes, could be a demonic door. Dimension. A portal.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Is this place a portal to hell?
I was going to say.
Oh.
Get Jack and Katrina in there.
Yeah, that's for Jack and Katrina to decide. I'm sorry.
I've been rewatching Portals to Hell. It's one of my favorites.
I love it because Katrina is from around our location. She's from, I think, Bucks County. So a lot of the places they go to are local to us. And I'm always like, haha, Penhurst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're also just like, I mean, like all the shows, they get a little bit more extreme as it goes on, but they're both very, I would say they're skeptic forward while also being very open to the possibility that like weird shit is going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I trust them a lot more than I trust like
Zach Bagans.
Yeah.
The Tennessee Ghost Hunters.
Oh, those guys.
Yeah.
Those guys
oh
are
my God. Tennessee Wraith Chasers.
Chasers, right.
I love those guys. I love them, but they are so ridiculous. But I watch it as like entertainment. I'm just like, you're attitudes are hilarious. Your accents are fantastic. And build a fucking weird machine.
I can't handle, like, before every investigation, they do that little, like bro hug and pray. Oh, guys. You're so cute right now.
Adorable.
I was going to say, this is a great entryway into our first Fortean topics because, you know, we're talking about God and praying and demon doors and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, EJ, you want to open the demon door and bring us in?
Yeah, well, while some are chasing wraiths down in Tennessee, we are slaying monsters here. And today we are going to talk Fortean news. And I guess we're going to bring it in first with a little bit of Silicon Valley has found Jesus Christ.
Silicone?
Silicone. That's what I say. Silicone. Silicon. You know what? It's funny. I used to think that it was called Silicon Valley because of all the
plastic surgery.
all the plastic surgery that was done in California.
I mean, that would be a good nickname, actually.
That's funny.
Yeah, I totally thought that. And then it took me years to realize it was Silicon Valley because of the chip. Anyway, catching up with everybody else here. Let's get started.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk, unfortunately, about Peter Thiel. And he believes that the Antichrist is coming, and that if we regulate AI, we are going to hasten the arrival of the Antichrist, at least according to him. So Peter Thiel is a conservative weirdo. He's famed for investing in business models like PayPal, Facebook, and helping to start the culture of Silicon Valley or Silicon Valley.
Silicon. I'm wrong.
He also runs Palantir, which is like a crazy, incredibly scary, like war technology company.
Yeah, they're like not exactly a defense contractor, right? They're sort of developing new age, not new age, because new age means something else, but like advanced weaponry programs, right?
Advanced weaponry systems. Yeah, like using AI and things like that.
Right.
And their chief technology officer during the Trump administration was automatically promoted to be pretty high ranking in the military so that they could have access to military data. It was Palantir, Google, and one other. It's kind of scary. Look it up, folks. Oh, but anyway, Peter Thiel, he's interesting.
Yeah, he was raised in an evangelical household, and now he considers himself an expert on the Antichrist and on Armageddon, meaning the biblical end of days, not the movie Armageddon. He believes that biblical revelations is real, the Antichrist is coming, and very often he believes that the things that he doesn't like are going to hasten the return of the Antichrist, going to pave the way for this demon spawn to come back. So recently he became convinced that the regulations on AI will break the shackles that keep the Antichrist restrained. By which he kind of means that we're focusing on the wrong things. He sees fears about technology as being distractions from the real big bad that's coming, which is the apocalypse, the Christian apocalypse. And he thinks that we should stop worrying about pesky little things like government overreach and start worrying about the coming apocalypse. What's scary about that is that he's invested over $1 billion in defense and weapons tech, including these autonomous targeting systems and things like that use AI that he's now saying we shouldn't be regulating. To me, this reminds me a lot of Miguel Serrano's arcane ramblings on Hitler. We talked about this in our Nazi occult series. It's this whole idea of like second comings, new world orders, these vaguely Hindu and Norse adjacent things that there's a race or a system that's holding back the end times, and then we're going to release the end times. It all sort of fits within that same bubble, except instead of it being like Loki releasing Fenrir, it is a mystical force holding back the apocalypse.
Yeah. First off, I did not realize that he was out there giving these lectures on the biblical Antichrist. So, like, I really appreciated this as just a little news item alert for me.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think Peter Thiel is pretty dangerous. Like, he has a lot of power, and he has really extreme views on a lot of things. I had a couple of thoughts. One, which is a little flippant, but I mean it, because I did not realize that Peter Thiel was raised evangelical, which I find interesting. I was going to say, based on a Teen Mania video, plug for the second season of Shiny Happy People.
So good.
Yeah.
A Teen Mania video I watched in high school was like a faux, I think it was produced by Teen Mania, but it was like a faux movie about the coming of the Antichrist, like what that would look like and what that leader would look like. What Peter Thiel is talking about, that the Antichrist, the Bible says that the Antichrist is like is a person who like wants the one world leader. I forget the exact phrase that he uses in the article, but like that is what the biblical Antichrist is. I actually was like, I'm pretty sure that that's what the Antichrist would say. Look over there. I'm not the Antichrist. That is the Antichrist, or that's going to hasten the Antichrist. But I actually have real Peter Thiel thoughts to back up why I think it's funny that he's saying this. Because Peter Thiel has well-documented, well-known beliefs. He has said this many times, that he does not believe in democracy. He actually believes that government should basically be run like a tech, like CEOs. Basically,
Yes.
Tech CEOs are kind of like dictators or like kings of their corporations. And he believes that countries should be run the same way, that they should be run more like tech corporations, where there's one person who's making the decisions, who's the final arbiter of all these things. He does not believe in like the idea of like a nation state. He does not believe in democracy. And he has like openly said these things. So I find it very interesting that he's like, oh no, pushing back and regulating against AI is going to hasten the coming of this like one world leader and like undermine freedom. Dude, you don't believe in freedom. You don't believe in democracy. You believe in there being one person who's making all the decisions. The implications of that is a person who believes that they are messianic in a way, that they have the vision to sort of make all the decisions for everybody forever. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing. And then the second piece of this that I thought was really interesting is that apparently like religion is becoming hot now in Silicon Valley. All the tech bros are going back to church. Mm-hmm. They were talking about how guys like Peter Thiel and other VC guys and stuff, leaders, have started talking about their Christian faith and how this is encouraging people to start talking about it and start going to church, that it's a way for them to deal with their existential angst and ethical concerns over what they're doing with AI, this thing that they're creating.
Oh, interesting.
My immediate thought was Marx. Religion is the opiate of the people. So you let all these people go to church. You let all these tech people who are like, actually, this is kind of scary what we're doing and maybe we shouldn't do it. You let them have their little ethical conversations in church. You let them come back to Jesus. And then they hear the messaging that a lot of Christian faiths, a lot of congregations, I think, actually end up preaching, which is not the social service of Christianity, the serving of humanity of Christianity, but the be good now and you will reap the rewards in the afterlife. Mm-hmm. Meaning, don't struggle for more now. Don't struggle for good now. Not in a real way, because you're good. The goodness is coming later in the afterlife because you've been saved and you believe in Jesus. That was Marx's argument for why a religion is the opiate of the people. It tells people, oh, you might have it rough in life now, but if you believe in God, in the future, you will reap the rewards of heaven. I actually find what Peter Thiel is doing to be really fucking creepy. It was already creepy, but his introduction of religion, like, I find to be even more creepy. And I'm going to stop talking because I've talked a lot. But yeah, those are my 2 points. Mm-hmm. Peter Thiel is probably the Antichrist. Not really. Don't quote me on that. And 2, religion is the opiate of the people. Like, send people to church and then they can feel less responsible for the shit they're doing.
I mean, that's an amazing point. I love that, Katie. I think you're pretty much spot on there, and it was something that I never thought about. That because I've always wondered why it seems like there's rising religion, particularly Christianity, in these tech companies, because we're starting to see that, right? And it makes perfect sense that they are actually beginning to fuck up life in the Western world. Like they're starting to fuck up jobs. They're starting to really take things away from people, and to assuage that fear of guilt, they're being sent to confess their sins, or at least have conversations about their, and I'm using sins as kind of in air quotes, but to talk about what they're doing and find justification for it, because if nothing matters now, I can do whatever I want. It's basically the same argument that we've had for 30 or 40 years about climate change, right? Like, it doesn't matter if we fuck up the planet now because we're all going to heaven, so who cares? The planet's here for us to use.
Yeah, I want to give some grace to some of these people. Like, I think some of them might just be like hearing about Christianity, and I think there's always been a strong vein of like spirituality in Silicon Valley. And the article we read, the Sunday Times article, talks about this, right? It's not like no one in Silicon Valley has ever been interested in spirituality. They have. It's just been more like Eastern religions and that kind of thing. I think hypothetically creating a character, I could see that you're some guy that's been working on AI and you're starting to be like, fuck, I actually think this might be really bad. And like, I'm just like a computer scientist who like thought this was cool. And now it's been unleashed and like, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I have questions. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about my soul, whatever. So they go to church. Right. Fine. Where it becomes like concerning for me is that they're all going to like the same church, different congregations, different denominations. They like preach different things, or like they approach the gospel in different ways. And like, when you start getting all of these people going to the same congregation, that becomes easily manipulated, because then they've come to church to think about questions of morality, to think about ethics, to think about their soul, to think about what they're doing on this planet. And they're hearing from the same people.
Well, I think those are great points. And I think another part of this is that they know which way the wind is blowing. Like, yes, before it was Eastern religion, now it's Western religion. What's the big change? Peter Thiel. I think that, and there is anecdotal evidence.
And Trump.
Oh,
yeah. People around Trump.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trump, the most religious, pious president we've ever had.
But all this Project 2025 people around him are those like extreme Christians.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He's just leveraging that, right?
He is using it. He's using it to his advantage. So there's anecdotal evidence out there in Silicon Valley that everybody is leaning toward religion because Peter Thiel is deeply religious. And so they want to get on his good side because they know what the future is going to bring. I mean, there is an active, I guess conspiracy is a crazy word, but there's kind of an active focus on creating these AI-powered, self-governing tech cities across the United States, skewing our nation, as you said, Katie, like doing away with the whole democracy, the nation idea, and bringing it into tech. And so I think that that's where the money is really going. I think that's where there's a lot of money and focus and power in. And I think that to get on Thiel's good side, you know where to go on Sunday now. And I think the other part of this could be a way for them to feel better about the decisions that they're making. But that could be a small percentage. I feel like some of these guys and gals have absolutely no qualms making billions and billions of dollars off of Peter Thiel's ideas. Because a lot of this just comes down to money in the end, I think.
Yeah, and the idea that you hit on real quickly there, EJ, just to, in case our listeners are not familiar, this is and I'm going to call it a conspiracy theory. It's the theory that there are certain people with decent amount of influence in government and in tech who are pushing toward, rather than having a country that's run under a governmental system, having like little splinter quote unquote countries or nations or something like that that are actually run by tech companies, or in the same way that tech companies are. So to put it real generally, there would be like the nation of Amazon and the nation of Google and the nation of Apple, and all of that stuff is the idea. And, you know, I call it a conspiracy theory because it falls in line with a lot of the conspiracy theories, but there is a decent amount of evidence that this is at least being floated in these circles.
It's not maybe the going as far as a nation state.
Yeah,
but
that's what I mean. Yes.
Literally a bunch on record, a
Yes.
bunch of tech billionaires or tech affiliated billionaires have given money to try to create a city, a planned city that will be run by tech. What's it called? I'm going to Google it. California Forever Project, an effort to build a new city in Solano County, California. People like Mark Andreessen, Laureen Powell Jobs. This is from the AI summary. Silicon Valley billionaires, including some from LinkedIn and Stripe. They're doing the project through an entity called Flannery Associates. The plan aims to create a walkable green community with thousands of jobs and affordable housing. Yeah, right. That's what they always fucking say. But yes, this is on the record. This is known thing that they're already trying to do. So then, you know, I can just automatically see, I mean, my brain immediately goes to, okay, they're going to create this city. How long till that city has walls around it? I just see there have been these articles recently about the return of the Dark Ages, the decrease in knowledge. There have been headlines, articles about this. And this actually, now that we're having this conversation, my brain is whirling, and it's reminding me of feudalism, of the Italian, when Italy was just a bunch of different states run by different lords, and they would all fight each other all the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
very similar, but with tech bros, which is so scary.
Like tech feudalism.
Yeah. And where information travels at the speed of light, you know, instead of carrier pigeon. And also, we're all up for sale. That's the other thing about these tech cities is you're not going to be private in these tech cities. If you live in any of these, if you choose to live in any of these, they're watching you, they're monitoring you. Like, they're already doing that to us now with our phones. But like, think about it on like a more massive scale, you know, like there's probably cameras all over the fucking place. And like, they know where you're going. They know what you're buying. They know, I mean, they already do. But this is just a way for them to have even more control and to make even more money. I just want to point out, too, before we totally move on, is that there's an article in Vanity Fair that I read that was really good. The article is entitled "Christianity Was Borderline Illegal in Silicon Valley, and Now It's the New Religion?" ? Bit of a inflammatory, hyperbolic title, but the article itself I thought was quite interesting because it shed some light on the situation and shared, you know, albeit some anecdotal evidence, but still quite interesting.
The article that I was thinking about, it's just one of the headlines, but it's called "The New Dark Age" in the Atlantic by Adam Serwer. So that's one of the articles that there are others.
God, the new dark age. It's so terrifying.
What's crazy to me is that as a fan of like the futuristic sci-fi noirish genre, this shit has been written about over and over again, and it's never good. Like, who the fuck reads Judge Dredd and is like, that's exactly what I want? And if you do, you miss the entire fucking point, dude.
Or 1984, or any of them.
There's no media literacy.
Yeah. I don't think I have any more to say. I do have more to say on this, but I think that we should move on. Because we've gotten off the insanity of the Antichrist and gone into the insanity of our actual world.
Yeah, and Matt was like, oh, I don't have a lot of spooky things here for the Halloween episode. I think that's pretty spooky, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good.
We're headed for Deus Ex. Anyway, to put a button on this, I will say Slaying Monsters is not a political podcast. And I really don't want to be talking about this shit. But when politicians and business people start invoking the Antichrist in their day-to-day operations, then it becomes our business. When we talked about Miguel Serrano, we talked about Ernest Zundel and their Nazi ramblings, they were just small-time writers with very little power. And even so, they created an entire movement of neo-Nazi rhetoric. Peter Thiel has billions of dollars and a gigantic platform to pontificate from, and he's poised to do way more damage than any of those earlier writers, and that is fucking terrifying to me. So, please, can we just stop talking about him and start talking about more important things, like the Loch Ness Monster getting caught by a World War II ship?
Yes, more important things.
Yes.
Are we going to talk about Jordan first before we head into Nessie?
Yeah, let's talk about Jordan Peterson. Yeah.
I think that can be quick.
Yeah. Okay.
Open and shut case on Jordan.
Well, yeah, it's already been decided. Jordan Peterson is the subject of demon attacks, right? Yeah. Jordan Peterson, media personality, was apparently assaulted. He was a subject of spiritual attacks and demonic assault, maybe, but probably not. This was all according to his daughter, Michaela, who claimed on X that his health was declining because of some mysterious illness. Now, political views aside, Peterson in the past has tried to treat his depression and autoimmune disorder with dietary changes by switching to a carnivore diet. The tenets of the carnivore diet and that lifestyle revolve around eating kind of like a Tyrannosaurus Rex. So you cut out food, you cut out vegetables in favor of these massive quantities of meats and fats. Well, let's cut to the chase then. The carnivore diet's stupid.
Yeah, it's very bad for you. It's very dangerous.
I found an article in Science-Based Medicine that says, meat does not contain vitamin C. Humans cannot synthesize vitamin C and have to get it from our diet. And in fact, that has been true for millions of years with our direct ancestors. A diet that is missing a critical nutritional element cannot be optimal. That's just how it is. Like, we need vitamin C to survive. Stephen Novella, the author, also points out humans are clearly omnivorous. We did not evolve from eating just meat.
No, in fact, it was the exact opposite. Mm-hmm. For most of our history, humans ate mostly plants and fruits, and then we would have meat sometimes because turns out hunting is hard.
Yeah.
When you can't just buy it at the grocery store, it's not that easy to obtain.
Well, and that's why farming was such a huge revelation when we got it. And we were like, okay, now we can actually raise livestock and have easily available meat instead of needing to go and hunt a deer and kill a deer, because sometimes that doesn't work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it turns out he also had massive long-term exposure to mold, which will also do it. Right. Mold, famously poisonous, not good for you.
Yeah. Scary shit.
Yeah, he spent a long time being exposed to mold in his workplace. And he put himself, Jordan Peterson, put himself on this carnivore diet, which is just going to fuck up, give you all manner of problems. Kidney disease, kidney stones, heart disease, liver damage. I mean, never mind the fact that if you're on a strictly meat-based diet, it's extremely costly for the planet. It takes up more land. You need more space to raise those animals, to harvest those animals.
I was going to say, I didn't realize that you said, Matt, that he already had an autoimmune disorder.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm not a doctor or scientist, so I have no idea. But I can't imagine that only eating red meat, essentially, is going to be good for you when you already have a body that is constantly in a state of stress because of an autoimmune disorder.
No, it's not. It's not. And the thing is, he believed so strongly in this concept of it that he couldn't find doctors in America to treat him the way he wanted to be treated. And so he ended up going to, I think, Russia, where he was being treated for his health and developed pneumonia in a hospital there. So his daughter, however, refuses to believe that any of this is the cause of the medical conditions that he had or that he brought upon himself with his diet. His daughter is also on the carnivore diet. And Michaela instead believes that Jordan Peterson was attacked by spirits. She wanted to say that his failing health felt like it was a demonic attack on him.
I don't know what to think of this stuff. I mean, I see this all the time too on like ghost shows and everything, where it's like these people, like you go into their house and the family's really like having issues and they're sick and their environment's kind of bad and but it's totally ghosts. It's not like they're stressed. It's not that they're having marital issues. It's not that they eat like shit, they sleep like shit, like they don't take care of themselves. Like, it's not those things. It's ghosts. And it's
not that they can't go to the doctor to treat or they don't have the money because they aren't able to acquire good jobs for whatever reason. So they can't fix their house.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big thing too. Like your house could be an unsafe environment, like mold, let's just say, or carbon monoxide and things like that. And we don't have universal health care in this fucking country for some goddamn stupid reason. And so people are not given the medical care that they deserve. And so, you know, you have people turning to crazy shit like ghosts, spiritual attachments. And I don't know what to think of it. Like, I just think that if we had a better education system in this country and people had the health care that they deserve, then we wouldn't have these issues. We wouldn't have to go to fucking Russia. Like, I'm sorry, if you have to go to Russia because other doctors won't talk to you, that's a problem. If doctors are telling you that you're not going down the right path, so you go to Russia, time for a reality check.
If you keep going to different doctors because you've been to multiple doctors and none of them are telling you what you want to hear, you've already decided. Why are you even going to a doctor? Just do it. I mean, does he need medicine? Why is he trying to get a doctor to say that he needs to be on the carnivore diet? Just do it. If that's what you think is the right thing to do, you're wrong, but you don't need a doctor to bless it.
People want validation. That's why they allow ghost teams in their house. They want validation.
Well, and I think it's a kind of a weird cycle because you start feeling bad, you know, or off or whatever. And the first thing that all of us do now is we Google it. We look it up online. And then depending on what your search history is and who you are and how that all of the observation tech and the algorithm has been judging you and leading you to things throughout your other searches, it's going to lead you to a certain place. And maybe that's a keto diet. And then a lot of times I think people have that as a preconceived notion when they go to a doctor because they've already tried to self-diagnose. And then the doctor tells them something else. And the instinct is to say, no, you're wrong because I did all of this research. Mm-hmm. Even though the doctor actually went to medical school for many years as opposed to your 2 days Googling.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Peterson is also an intellectual of, an ideologue of the manosphere. And the manosphere right now is chock full of carnivore diet, roided up, go to the gym 17 hours a day content. I mean, the beauty and wellness industry has been particularly harsh on women forever, but it seems in the last, I don't know, because I'm not on this space, one of my friends who is a man and gets a lot of this content because he works out was telling me that it is wild over there. It's the beauty industry has figured out that men also are concerned about their looks. Mm-hmm. And it is just, I mean, we're talking like 1990s level insanity of what the messaging that was being given to women about how skinny you needed to be, the insane diets you needed to be on. That is what is happening in the manosphere. But of course, men have none of the cultural literacy to handle incessant, insidious, deep body shaming. Women are like, let me bring out my notebook.
Yeah, well, because
Which chapter are we on?
yeah, well, women have had decades of that toxic shit thrown at them. And men, you're right. That's a good point, because like I feel like men are still in the dark ages of this. Like they have never been hit this hard, and so they don't know how to respond. Like just like how women didn't know how to respond. It was like absolutely.
They're responding by saying, "Oh yeah, maybe I do need to eat only steak."
Just like how it was like back in like the fucking 30s and 40s when women were,
have a stick of celery for dinner.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The most insane diet that it floats around Instagram every once in a while. It's from Cosmo magazine or something like that. One of the women's magazines from back in the 50s. I forget what it's called. It's called like the wine and steak diet or something. When I tell you that the entire diet is eating several hard-boiled eggs, steak au poivre, and a bottle of Chablis. That is what you eat every day. It's a diet for women to lose weight. Like you drink the Chablis throughout the day, but you literally drink an entire bottle of Chablis. You have several hard-boiled eggs and a steak au poivre.
Why au poivre? What does the pepper do for it? Is that?
I think it's probably just seasoning.
Okay. I mean, I love me some steak au poivre, actually, but not every day.
I love it. But it's bananas. But like that's the kind of, the grapefruit diet, the cabbage soup diet. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on of the insane things that women have been told to eat to lose weight. The carnivore diet is a weird manly version of those things. If you really strip it back and look at it big picture, I think.
Even in the name, the carnivore diet is such a manly, like, I'm a carnivore. I just eat meat.
Mm-hmm. And everybody does it, of all genders. It's not like it's only a male thing at all, but it is certainly targeted to that side of things for sure.
Well, I'm glad men finally got the equal opportunity that they deserve to be body shamed. That's great.
Yes.
I didn't mean for our conversation with Jordan Peterson to go here.
That exploded into something else too. Well.
No,
I meant to say, Jordan Peterson, you have mold poisoning. Please go to the hospital.
Yes, yeah. Please seek actual legitimate medical help.
But, I don't think it's totally off topic, because I think Jordan Peterson talks a lot about masculinity and the male place in society. So, I think this topic is relevant for sure to stuff that he probably also talks about on the other side of things.
It absolutely is. Yeah, it absolutely is.
And the subject matter of slaying monsters is mistruths and conspiracies in the world. And it is a mistruth that you should only eat steak.
Yes.
Even steak.
Maybe not a conspiracy, but
and I think it's also important to look skeptically at the way things are packaged. Like you have carnivore diet packaged in a way that is like a healthy alternative diet, where anorexia is a disorder, and we know that. And we know that the Atkins diet was unhealthy because the guy who started Atkins died. Like we know these things. We have these things in their little packages of bad and good. And right now the carnivore diet, it's definitely getting a lot of heat and criticism, but it's still packaged as a positive alternative. And so that just needs to tip into the negative more, and that will fall to the side of the Atkins until it is then repackaged into something else. So it's all just knowing, getting your bullshit detector nice and cranked to 10, and as you look at all these alternative ways of eating and being like, what's healthy, what's not. Don't look at the packaging, look at the contents.
Yeah. Honestly, EJ, I really like that, and bringing it back to like slaying monsters territory, which is conspiracy theories are also constantly repackaging themselves to look like something else, right? Yes. Oh, and when you scratch the surface, it's the same stories, the same narratives. They've just repackaged them and are calling them something different so that they can continue to think and say the same things that got enough traction that everyone was like, hey, that's bad, actually. And we don't believe that. That's not true. Okay, we're going to take all of those same things, repackage them, put a little new brand on it. And now this is the thing, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's really smart
Thank
to
you.
remind everyone of.
Yeah, no, it's good.
All right, so let's get to some Fortean news here, some real Fortean news. The Loch Ness Monster may have been caught in a fishing net during World War II. This story comes to us from the Express. Allegedly, a person named John Gibbons found documents in their grandfather's effects that included a letter from 1967, and that letter claimed that Gibbons' grandfather, named Lewis Tyler, was aboard the HMS Ocean Swell and saw a monster in the loch, and it was caught in one of their fishing nets. It was caught not fishing nets, an anti-submarine net. So the Ocean Swell was laying these anti-submarine nets in the summer of 1941 to make sure that, we weren't getting any German U-boats sailing into Loch Ness at the time. And during this mission, they pulled up an unknown creature in the nets, which Tyler described as a sea serpent. The letters were actually sent from the Loch Ness Phenomena Investigation Bureau, and were asking Tyler if he would be able to relate further information about this. So we have a letter from the Bureau to him, and then we have a second letter from the Bureau that thanks him for the story, and a third letter that says it would be most useful to their research. But we don't have the actual story that he sent back. We just have this kind of circumstantial evidence that there was something there, the story itself.
Darn it.
Yeah.
Come on.
I know, it's so tantalizing.
Almost
It's
got
nothing.
it.
Almost. Yeah, I mean, for all we know, it could have just been a big old eel, and they didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I mean, so the history of this is that the surgeon's photograph, that most famous photo of Nessie, was taken in 1934. And this took place his account, his eyewitness account took place in 1941. So I don't think it's far-fetched to believe that if you heard about that photograph, and that photograph made international news, right, in 1934. I think if you heard about that photograph, you got drafted into the war effort, you got stationed in Loch Ness, all of the guys aboard that HMS Ocean Swell were probably looking for a sea monster, I'm sure. And you pull anything up in your net, like otters or seals or something like that, you probably would have thought that that was a sea monster because you were looking for one, that confirmation bias. They never actually got to see it. They say that their gear gave way and then it fell back into the loch. So they just pulled up something and then it disappeared.
And do they know for a fact that it was live? Because maybe it was rocks or a combination of rocks and seaweed or plant life, and it looked kind of like something, but
no idea because we don't have the account. We just have the reporting around the account. I don't know. I think that the servicemen aboard the ship were probably looking for a sea serpent because they were there and found one or saw something anomalous and said, oh my God, that's probably the monster. And then it disappeared. I do think if this story had that much meat to it, it seems strange to me that it would have gone unheard and untold for so long. At the very least, post-1960s, you would think that if there was anything there, the Loch Ness Investigation Bureau would have reported that in its own findings in the last, 60 years. And it doesn't seem like they have. So my guess is that there probably wasn't anything substantial to the story, but we don't know. I kind of hope that there's some little, dusty box in the basement of the Investigation Bureau that has his account in it somewhere, and we just have to find it.
I don't know. There's not much to say because there's nothing to.
There's no story.
Evidence. There's hardly any story. Yeah, it's just.
It feels yet again similar to all of these other encounters that people are making up. I heard from a source, but you never know. I mean, here we have theoretically the original source, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we've not actually laid eyes on the written account of the actual person that supposedly saw this thing.
Right.
So it's the same thing as it always is.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things floating around, but no actual proof. Not even that a letter of an account would be proof, right? But
Right.
it would at least be an original eyewitness experience of, here's what happened to me. I don't know what it was, but this is what I saw.
Yeah.
And we don't even have that.
Yeah, that original source we don't have. Yeah. Yeah, but that's sort of where the Fortean tends to lie, right? Is in the gaps between the original source and the reporting around the original source. EJ, I know you've done 23andMe.
Yep.
Katie, have you done any investigation into your genes or your heritage or anything like that?
No, my dad has, and I would like to see the report that it sent him back, because he's given me different accounts of what it said.
Well, yeah.
But I think it changes over time as they
does.
get more DNA, like your report back changes. But no, I personally have not done it.
Well, EJ, since you have, I'm curious how much of your DNA comes from aliens.
Yeah, so there's this feature in 23andMe that you can buy, you can add on, and it tells you how much of a hybrid you are. And I am actually 20% gray.
Okay.
But what's the little alien? The tiny alien?
The grays.
No, they're the tall. Are they the? Oh, wait.
I thought the grays were tall.
No. The talls are the tall whites.
Okay, so I'm 20% tall white, but I'm 80% gray.
Okay.
Which is why I'm 5'1".
Yeah.
So, it's a shame. I'm angry about that.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm good at hiding under things. But no, I don't know. There is nothing yet that has tapped into the alien gene.
Well, actually, there is.
What?
Because in really bonkers news this month, there is a geneticist who's claiming that aliens are altering human DNA by creating hybrids, potentially reshaping evolution. And this comes from Dr. Max Rempel of the DNA Resonance Research Foundation. His team analyzed DNA of people who claim to have been abducted by aliens, and they compared that to non-abductees. And allegedly, they found genetic discrepancies like non-parental genetic variations, which Dr. Rempel claims were indicative of gene editing.
Yeah, so EJ and I are about to say the same thing, which is this man is reporting a natural phenomenon that occurs regularly, which is that genes mutate, and so that you can have genes in your body that do not come from either of your parents.
Right.
Some of them can cause problems, but oftentimes it doesn't cause any problem. You just have a weird gene. Yeah, they're called de novo mutations.
Yes. So these findings were taken from the 1000 Genomes Project, which was a cataloging effort that ran from 2008 to 2015 with the intention of kind of trying to create a singular database of human genetic variation. And to me, that was one of the things that was immediately questionable, because that project closed a decade ago. The data hasn't been updated. Even as technology has advanced, even as the research and the science has advanced. So he's still doing research on old data. But beyond that, this to me is very much a God of the gaps fallacy that he's using. They didn't find alien DNA. They found anomalies in the DNA. And there are multitudes of reasons why genes might express in different ways. And just because you find an anomaly doesn't mean that something had to create it there.
Yeah. I mean, I would want to know more. This article wasn't particularly expansive. I literally want to know why this man doesn't think that they're the natural mutations that can happen in genes. Because, of course, my first question, EJ, clearly you had the same impulse, was to Google, like, can this just happen on its own? The answer is yes. So why is this gene scientist jumping to aliens? Either I'm missing something that's not in the article that makes these genes weirder, or this guy is like crying aliens about something that every gene scientist knows can just happen. So which one is it?
If I had to guess, I would think that it's probably because he saw that they happened in people who claimed that they had been abducted by aliens. And so that is the thing that he's now judging them by.
And all he probably needs to do is interview those two groups of people, and they can all show those markers of non-parental genetics. But if the alien abductees happen to have a percentage over the other group, he can claim that they are the ones with the non-parental genes. I mean, you don't know how he's measuring this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great point. I'd love to see what that actual percentage is, because if it's non-abductees have 0% and abductees have 80%, that's a very different conversation than if there's like a 10% difference. You know, non-abductees have 70% and abductees have 75%. Then you're like, well,
yeah, but you can still argue that it's easily bullshit because you can explain what non-parental genes are.
Right. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter anyway.
There's really nothing there anyway, but
yeah. My favorite part of this particular article was that even the Daily Mail, who I don't have very much respect for, but even the Daily Mail pointed out that this had not been peer reviewed.
Good for the Daily Mail. All right.
Taking a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa. When the Daily Mail is critical of you, something's going on.
I'm going to tick win for Daily Mail in my chalkboard. They get a
Somebody's editor said, okay, I get it. It has to do with aliens. We have to print it. But I really... Somebody's editor even was skeptical.
Yeah.
I mean, this kind of makes me want to go on to our next piece.
Yeah.
About this woman who sees dragons, people's faces morph into dragons for her, because the only comment I wrote in my notes is, this is fucking wild.
This is wild. This is crazy.
What?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this blew my mind when I saw this. I think I sent it to you, EJ, and was like, we have to talk about this.
Yeah.
So doctors in the Netherlands treated a patient with a very rare medical condition that caused her to perceive people as dragons, and people have them morph into dragons in front of her eyes. She explained that when she was looking at people, she would see them visibly transform, and she said, they turned black, grew long pointed ears and a protruding snout, and displayed a reptilioid skin and huge eyes in bright yellow, green, blue, or red. This had been happening to her entire life. She's 52, and this has been her whole life.
And this, I have to know more. Did she ever mention this to anyone before, or was she just kind of a recluse? I mean, she did say it had an impact on her social relationships. No shit.
Yeah.
And then, like, clearly she didn't think she was crazy, or maybe she did think she was crazy, but only in these, like, small moments. So she didn't want to be, like, hospitalized or something. I don't know, but I'm proud of her for finally going to the doctor.
Yeah. So she has a condition that is called, I'm gonna pronounce this phonetically to the best of my ability, prosopometamorphosia, or PMO. And what happens is it's essentially a type of schizophrenia. The brain has trouble remembering what things look like. And we've talked before about how our brains are always kind of filtering information. You know, we get little bits of information and then your brain computes the rest and throws out a bunch of data. But her memory bank is kind of corrupted. So her brain struggles to remember correctly what it has seen before. And so it's filling in details from a corrupt database. And that leads to these like dragon appearances when she sees faces. And sometimes she'll even see them when there aren't people there. She'll just see dragons in the room. They did MRI tests on her and found that she showed damage to the parts of her brain that were linked to memory and cognition, and noted that that's very common among people with this type of schizophrenia. Ultimately, the doctors there put her on valproic acid, which is an anti-seizure medication that is also used to treat bipolar disorder, and it seems to be helping her.
Mm-hmm. But apparently she heard bangs for a while.
Yeah, it gave her auditory hallucinations when they put her on that.
Just to hear fucking bangs out of nowhere, like that's scary. And then, but they fixed it though, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They did.
Yeah. So now she's sort of, it seems like she's in a stasis. Like they got the bangings to mostly go away and they got the dragons to mostly go away. It doesn't sound like they've 100% gone away, but she's much better than she was. I had to have a tiny bit of fun.
Okay.
Thinking about what this woman's life would have been if she had lived in the medieval ages or something where she would have been a seer or probably she either would have been elevated to some kind of status for being able to see dragons or they would have burned her immediately.
Right. Depending on the town she was in.
Depending on the town and who thought that she was like who valued her visions.
Yeah. And her status in life, too.
Right. Like pagan society or early Christian society. Like, I feel like pagans might have been nicer. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I just can't imagine. And I mean, they said that they've never had someone see dragons before. They said oftentimes what happens is the faces are still humanoid. They just look how we would imagine, like the devil or something evil looks, which is interesting to me that the faces always distort. Well, I guess any facial distortion would be disturbing, would be weird to see, even if it wasn't in some particular shape. Like even if I'm just thinking like you're looking at someone and all of a sudden their face scrambles like a TV static or something, that's not necessarily evil, but it would be totally freaky to see. All the scientists found it really, really strange that the faces became dragons and they don't know why.
What I thought was fascinating is that what she reports is remarkably similar to what people who claim to see reptilians report seeing. Because I've seen and I've read conspiracy theories before who these people claim to see celebrities and politicians actually change in like a news report or an interview or something, and they'll say, "Oh, I could see their disguise slip for a second. I saw the flash of the reptilian behind their human disguise." And they claim that that's, they're the only ones who caught sight of it. And then they, I've seen people who put pictures side by side and they're like, look, if you look at this one, you're going to see the more reptilian appearance and stuff. And it makes me wonder if this is maybe more prevalent than we realize, just not at that extreme.
I don't know. I want to push back and say this is very rare. And say that I think those people are actually conspiracy theorists and probably anti-Semitic, probably racist, probably just hateful people, and they're making
taking LSD.
Up. Yeah, I mean, I think they're just people that are making shit up. I really do. I think I don't think it's that prevalent, because if we had all the people who believed that reptilians existed and were looking at these things, that would be a massive amount of people.
I don't think it's all the people. I think you only need one. I think you just need one person who believes it strongly enough, and then a bunch of people who are willing to buy into the conspiracy
who are willing to
theory.
See it, even though they don't see it. I mean, maybe.
Or believe that the person saw it.
Right. Yeah.
Even if they have never themselves seen it. I mean, I see what you're saying, Matt. I tend to be on EJ's side here, just because it says in this article that this type of schizophrenia is incredibly rare. I do agree with you, Matt, that you could have one person who had this type of schizophrenia and it's like on the internet message boards and the right internet message boards, and people are willing to believe it, because just because you have schizophrenia doesn't mean you're also not racist, into conspiracy theories, into whatever. So I guess it's possible.
But that's pure
speculation.
speculation.
But that's pure speculation. I think it's more likely that people are making shit up.
But it might not be that severe. Like, she has it really bad. What if somebody only has it like 5% of what she has?
I don't know, maybe.
That's what I'm saying. If you only have it to that level of 5%, you might not get it diagnosed. I don't know. That's where my mind went.
That's very speculative, but could be.
I also think that we really, really can make things up.
Yeah,
and I don't mean out of pure fiction. I mean that we can catch something out of our corner of the corner of our eye, and our brain can be convinced that we saw something that literally we didn't see, but we can't verify that we didn't see it. And our brain has made it seem like we've seen it. So that's what we saw. And the only thing left is your rational brain to go, that's not what that was. You just think that's what that was, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's sort of like scrying too, right? That if you, if you just stare at something long enough, it'll change, because your brain, it doesn't perceive the same thing the same way every single time, because it's throwing away a bunch of information. Yeah.
Yes, and also literally anyone, I encourage our listeners to do this right now. If you don't believe me, just go stare at yourself in the mirror. Just stare at yourself, but stop staring like at yourself. Like, just look at yourself in the mirror, and your face starts to not make sense.
Yeah, it'll change. Yeah, you can see it happen.
It changes, or it just becomes unrecognizable to you because you zone out. It's the same as if you repeat a word over and over and over again to yourself. It's really fun to do when you're high because the effect is faster, but the word starts to not make sense.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, what is this word even? You know?
Yeah.
Because it loses the immediacy and the habitualness of like being what it is and the way that you use it, and becomes this strange foreign object to you. And so I just think, back to your speculation, Matt, about this, I think it can be a combination of racism and some person is watching TV and catches a glimpse of something and thinks they saw something. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're really good at that.
Or is staring at a video of Obama waiting for him to change because they desperately, desperately want Obama to change into a reptile.
Yeah.
Sure.
I want to personally draw a very distinct line between, like, this is a medical condition, and then this over here is a bunch of conspiracy theorists who have too much time on their hands, that have a lot of hatred and just want to spew shit.
Fair enough.
Sticking to it.
No, it's good pushback, because I think it's also a great example of how just because something can explain a Fortean or mysterious thing doesn't necessarily mean that it does.
Cool. I mean, regardless, I'm glad this woman finally went to the doctor and got help. And also, I was fascinated to learn about a truly wild medical condition because, wow.
Crazy. Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Let's close out with some truly spooky news items. First off, let's talk about the Milwaukee Brewers haunted hotel. Okay. So I've heard of all kinds of cheating in sports, like doping. You got taking air out of footballs, paying off the refs. But I've never heard of using ghosts to haunt your opponents into losing a game before. But allegedly, that's what the Milwaukee Brewers are doing. The Pfister Hotel in downtown Milwaukee is a spot where the visiting sports teams tend to stay. But according to TMZ, this hotel is haunted. And so haunted, in fact, that the LA Dodgers outfielder Teoscar Hernandez actually refused to stay there during his time, and he left the hotel while he was staying in the town. Now, the Pfister Hotel was built in 1893. Any building that old is going to have ghost stories, of course. But these are unique because that's the go-to hotel for the visiting sports teams. And there have been so many reports of ghosts and spiritual attacks in this hotel that MLB.com has a catalog of them.
What?
Yes.
Wait, really? Because my comment was that Zach Bagans kept being like, countless baseball players and professional athletes. And I was like 3? They mentioned 2 in the article?
The catalog has like 6.
That's not countless.
Maybe Zach can't count past 5.
Okay,
I love Zach.
Okay,
my God,
so the Rangers infielder, Michael Young, heard ghostly footsteps. Phillies first baseman Bryce Harper said that his clothes were tossed around his room when he slept. The Cardinals pitcher Carlos Martinez saw a ghost and said it was so scary that a bunch of the players from the Cardinals actually slept in the same room together.
That's adorable.
I know, right?
That is cute. And I just counted, it's 10. There's
Okay.
10
There's
on
10.
the store.
Yeah.
I take it back. That is countless.
Wait, but sorry, it's 9 because the last one, John Gray, is fascinated about with ghosts. So he just went to investigate the Pfister. He went on a ghost hunt. He didn't actually, I don't know if he actually experienced anything.
Some of them are like, I heard ghost stories, not like I actually experienced anything there. I think it might be 7 or 8. Yeah, so our hero to this story, who's going to swoop in and cleanse the hotel, is Zach Bagans. And he told TMZ that he would be willing to come to Milwaukee and talk to the spirits. And he said, I would go there and try to make contact with whoever this spirit is and see exactly what is going on. Why are they targeting baseball players?
I know. This interview, I died. I was like, come on, dude. He really needs to stick to performing on his own show because his stick doesn't really work in a live interview.
Well, and I think it's clear. It's clear why the ghosts are targeting the baseball players. It's because they're Brewers fans. They've got ghost money bet on these games.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So if anything, Zach has to break up this ring of illegal sports bet tampering.
Also known as FanGhoul.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. I think that might be the title of this episode.
FanGhoul? All
FanGhoul.
I love that. I'm reading through the MLB ones. Colby Lewis said he saw a skeletal apparition around 1:30 a.m. and it freaked him out so much that he saw the team chaplain and missed a radio appearance the next day. So that's kind of terrifying.
Wow. I mean, that would scare me too if you were just staying there and then you saw a skeleton.
So 2 players saw some real stuff and 2 players heard bangs and stuff. I'll feel it. That's weird. And then one guy said he's had a couple of experiences. That's weird. Anyway, it's weird. My question though is, have other guests at the Pfister also reported these things? So maybe it's not just attacking baseball players. It's just that the ghosts are haunting everyone at the Pfister. It's just that lots of professional baseball players stay at the Pfister because famously the baseball season has a lot of games and all of the teams are staying there. So
I tried to look up deaths at the Pfister Hotel and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The baseball players have a platform. Regular guests don't have a platform. So
That's true.
yeah, might just be a good old general haunting. But I feel like if this is true, why have I never seen the Pfister on any of my ghost shows? That's what I'm wondering.
And so finally, as a follow-up for everyone who is expecting to drop in on the Conjuring House auction from last month, you're too late. Because before the property even went to auction, an anonymous buyer purchased it. And so their Halloween auction that was going to come out the day this podcast comes out, that has been canceled. Jacqueline Nunez, the former owner, was a claimed medium. She had her own encounters in the house, this allegedly haunted house. She claimed that the ghost told her that one of her employees was stealing and she fired that employee, which resulted in a very justified legal backlash that cost her her entertainment license.
Wow. The ghost told her someone was stealing?
The ghost told her someone was stealing and told her this particular employee was stealing. And so she fired the employee, and whatever board it got reported to was like, yeah, that's not just cause to
The
fire
Ouija board?
someone. No.
Gotcha. Boom.
I thought it was interesting that she had reached out to Jason Hawes to buy the house. So he was thinking of buying the house.
And then they got in a fight. Did you see that?
Oh my God, no.
Wait, no.
Yeah, so she reached out to him to buy the house, and then I don't know exactly what happened, but they got in some type of fight, and she claimed that he was trying to assassinate her.
Oh, yes. Okay, I did see that. I just skimmed over it because by that point, I was like, so Jacqueline Nunez is not a medium, clearly, by all of the accounts in this article.
Yeah. Apparently she was like harassing Jason on Twitter and stuff, and yeah.
Oh my God.
Who's a reasonable person? Like Jason Hawes is
is.
a reasonable person. He's a reasonable investigator. I have a lot of respect for him.
Yeah, no, he's like a chill dude.
Yeah.
So like, it's hard to see him getting harassed. Like,
Yeah.
unlike Zach Bagans, who I also, respect the work, love the game,
Yes.
but he is a showman. Jason Hawes, also good at what he does, but he's not a showman in that way. No. He's not looking to be famous in that way. Like, he does his ghost investigating, he has his company, he does his things, but he's not trying to get in Twitter fights with people.
No, not at all. He doesn't own a haunted museum.
No, he does not. And I don't think he ever would. I don't think that's in his plan for himself. I was bummed because, as we've talked about in our Amityville series,
yes.
Everybody listen to that. These houses, they're so beautiful. And what I really want for the Conjuring house is for normal family to just buy it and fix it up and make it just a nice family home again. Give it that life back. Maybe you can still let people in to investigate if you feel strongly about it sometimes, but otherwise let it be a house again.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like that's what happened. Well, it didn't seem like what was going to happen. Those YouTubers and Jason Hawes were trying to buy it.
Yeah.
But also whoever came in behind the scenes and bought it, I just have a feeling that it's not going to be, I don't know, some really rich person who was like, I actually want this house for my family to live in.
Yeah, I suspect Jacqueline Nunez probably wouldn't sell to just a family. I think she was looking for some other investigator or something. That's why she reached out to Jason to begin with. So
yeah, we'll find out, I guess.
But auction has been canceled, so put away your checkbooks.
Shucks. Thought it was going to be us.
Thought it would.
Not for that price.
Slaying Monsters podcast studio.
Yeah, headquarters in Rhode Island.
In the Conjuring
I mean, that would be
house.
pretty damn cool, actually.
Yeah.
Well, that is our October Fortean Roundup. So, yeah, EJ and I made a short horror film that came out earlier this month.
In association with Oh Yeah Cool.
Great team at Oh Yeah Cool. Kara Leaf and Stephen John were the directors and producers. That is available. It's available on our YouTube. It's also available on our Buy Me a Coffee site. If you head over to slayingmonsterspodcast.com, click on the support us button at the top of the page. That will direct you there, and you can watch the film totally free there. That has a link to the YouTube. You can also leave a donation if you like the film. Definitely check it out. It's spooky, and it's the perfect thing for you to watch after listening to this podcast if you want something a little creepy to celebrate the holiday. EJ, you wrote and starred in it, and I shot and cut it. So it's a lot of fun.
Everybody go check it out. I will be watching it after this recording. Awesome. I saw the clips on Instagram and I was like, ooh.
I'm very, very proud of you for breaking your horror vow and watching it for us.
It's not going to be too scary, is it?
No, it's really
No,
no.
I think you'll be fine. Yeah. Katie, have you ever seen Grey Gardens?
Yes. Have I seen Grey Gardens?
Okay.
It's fucking amazing.
I figured.
Awesome,
So the horror film, this for our listeners, it's Grey Gardens as if it was a horror film.
Oh, but y'all have seen the Bill Hader skit about
absolutely.
this.
Yeah,
Yes,
I saw it
absolutely.
after I wrote the script, and I was like, "Oh wow, they're kind of going
Yeah.
a little spooky with this. That's cool."
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
they're just it's a little on the disturbing side, but so is
Yes.
the original Grey Gardens. It's
Yes.
disturbing.
The vibes it gave me, at least one of the clips that you guys put on Instagram, it gave me GBBO vibes.
Really?
What's that?
Well,
Great British
Great British
Bake
Bake Off.
Oh.
Well, just the part where the main character is sitting down in front of the camera with this very pastoral setting, saying like, "Oh, there's going to be this competition, and I think I have a shot at winning." You know, they always do these little bits with the contestants in Great British Bake Off where they like talk about their bakes or whatever, and kind of reminded me of that. It might not after when I put it in the context of the whole film, but I like that idea because Great British Bake Off is like so gentle and pastoral. It would be kind of funny if someone took it somewhere weird.
Cool.
All right.
Well, yeah. Thank you all so much for listening to this October Halloween Fortean Roundup. And next time we'll be coming back with some more Amityville and then moving on to something else. So,
Cool. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. All right. Bye.
be safe out there. Thanks for listening to Slaying Monsters, the Fortean History Podcast. If you like the podcast, there's a couple ways you can show your support. You can tell your friends, you can leave us a rating and review on your podcast platform, or you can head over to slayingmonsterspodcast.com and click on the Support Us button to leave a donation. For questions, suggestions, and other feedback, reach out to us, slayingmonsterspodcast@gmail.com, and stay up to date by following us on socials at Slaying Monsters Podcast. Your support helps us grow, and we are truly grateful to have our listeners and community.